egg prices have reached an all-time high.
It was a long, before I ever got here, it was at an all-time. This didn't start. Remember, I've been here for 3 weeks. And when you saw the inflation numbers, I've been here for 3 weeks. I have had nothing to do with inflation. This was caused by Biden.
Blaming others other than yourself for your mistakes. Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by, supporting your girl on this channel. So all credits goes to the creators in these videos. So guys, on today's FAFO,
I had 4 years of virtually no inflation, so I'm just taking over. But I'll tell you what, this country has made more progress in the last 3 weeks than it's made in the last 4 years.
It appears that our president has a sense of selective memory. This is the president who said on day one he was going to bring the price of eggs down. On day one, the price of groceries would go down. On day one, his presidency would end the war in Ukraine. At some point, the American people have to realize they've been duped. This president is a salesman of sorts, but not a salesman of goods, a salesman of false dreams, and suggesting to people that he has a magic wand, and then when it's time to perform, he blames it on the last person. I'll remind you that our economy was strong both times he took over the presidency, and within a very short period, he took it to the bottom. And he's on his way doing it again.
Another huge FAFO situation is unfolding in the dismantling of the Department of Education. And I want to get on here and do one of those fucking like, do it videos, like do it, dismantle it. But I'm so fucking sad at this point that so many Americans are celebrating this in some like weird way. Like, you guys were just duped. Like, this is 0% a good thing, and this is 0% a good thing for everybody in the country. Everybody benefits from people being educated and people having access to education. Everybody benefits from that. Not just the people who are receiving those benefits in, say, the red states, because those are the states that are going to start falling behind without the Department of Education, but even the people in the blue states benefit too, because we as people and as a society benefit when more of society is educated. So everybody benefits from this one. Yet somehow that fucking administration has gotten people so fucking tricked, so fucking duped to believing this is somehow a good thing for anybody. And it is so fucking baffling to me, and it's sad, because that right there is the perfect case study for why we need a Department of Education. Because with a Department of Education, we educate more people. And the more people we educate, the more people who aren't going to be able to be tricked and duped by lies that the current administration is telling us. So no, it's not. It's so bad. It's just so bad. And it's really fucking sad for everyone.
I never want to hear another Red Hatter say that they support veterans.
This is sad. This is a veteran who lost his doctor due to the cuts at the VA. Do you believe us now? Do you guys need more proof? Do you believe us? Unfortunately, whether you ask for proof or not, you're going to get it. You're going to get more proof in the form of Social Security cuts. And for those of you saying they're not going to come for Social Security, no, they're not. They're not actually going to cut Social Security. But what they will do is they're going to make it unable to function, right? They're going to reduce the workforce. They're going to reduce the number of people on the phone. And they're going to require mandatory in-office visits, many of which are immobile, many of which the people who receive these benefits aren't even able to travel. They're at home, hooked up to IVs, etc. They're going to make it impossible for you to collect on benefits. Do you guys remember the video that I posted a while back talking about how Republicans will never directly name a bill we're going to remove veterans benefits away, but what they will do is they're going to write provisions in there that slowly chip away at the infrastructure that makes it function. And that's what they're going to do with Social Security. They're going to chip away at the infrastructure that makes Social Security function. And in the end, the results are the same, whether you cut it directly or whether you make it inoperable. The results are the same, right? It's kind of like you having a car, right? And you can do two things. You can destroy the car, or you can just not sell the person gas. At the end of the day, you're stuck with a hunk of metal that's inoperable, right? Republicans are refusing to sell you gas. They're never going to tell you you can't drive the car. They just won't give you the gas to run it, right? And for those of you, again, saying, they'll never do that. There's a leaked memo. It's already on the way. Apparently, you haven't learned from this past round of cuts. That man in that video, he's not screaming for no reason. He is a victim of the new cuts and wave of just dismantling of the government. He is a victim. He is now suffering due to Donald Trump's policies on government infrastructure. And if you think it's going to stop at veterans, you have... They're coming for Social Security. Believe us if you want to. Yeah, you guys voted for this. We tried to warn you. We suggest you figure something out.
If you've been doing the Target boycott this year, I need you to pull out your Target app on your phone and do this with me right now. If you need a little push to keep going, to keep boycotting, which we all do because Target is tempting, you guys. I saw another creator do this. I can't remember her name. I'll try and find her. Go into your purchases and you're going to look how much money you spent last year at Target. And you're going to look how much you spent this year. You're going to compare how much money you would have spent if you had that continual pattern of spending up until now, like until March 21st. I was a Target girly, okay? I would walk in with a list and I'd always walk out with more. With dollar section, it got me every single time. That's my disclaimer before I tell you what my numbers are. The DEI stuff started, I visited Target one time. So one time since January 1st, 2025. That trip, I spent $85. It was like grocery stuff. During that to last year. By March 21st of last year, I had spent over $900 at Target. Then I added up the entire year, $3,400. That's insane. Honestly, as a person who just likes to get an A+ at everything, I want to get an A+ in boycotting. Looking at that amount of money that I have not spent at Target this year feels like an A+. Your numbers are worse than mine. Will you share them so I feel better? Target, if you're watching this, you're ugly and dumb. Bye.
Yet another example of everything that the Cheeto Jesus touches turns to shit. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, the man destined to be the first trillionaire, in a 3-month span has lost almost half his fortune. The company where he has most of his holdings at has given him an ultimatum. It's coming out now that there's $1.4 billion missing from Tesla. Talk about just burning it all down. He has a real choice to make here. I would cut my losses while I'm still playing with house money. He's acting like a gambler, like somebody who's just going to lose it, who's convinced that he's going to win it all back. But anybody who is addicted to gambling knows that you never win it back. You never win it back. You're always playing from behind. And yeah, if he showed any emotional intelligence whatsoever, he would get out now while he still has a semblance of a fortune left. But his ego won't allow him to. He wants so desperately to be right, he's going to destroy himself in the process.
So things are getting worse, right? they're not just deporting people who have overstayed their visas or have entered undocumented. Oh no, they're also deporting permanent residents and people with visitor's visas, like on vacation. People who are actually trying to enter on a visitor's visa, which means they went through the appropriate channels and steps, and they're now being deported. But wait, these people are not just being deported. These people are being held captive for upwards of 2 weeks in a detention center for the crime of nothing, and then being sent back to their countries. Shit's getting real.
Alright, so that's the current price of the 6-count of avocado.
That's a really nice patio table.
I know. Maybe you should get it. Here, are you sure you want them?
Yeah.
They're $10.
Oh, no. What happened?
Tariffs?
We grow our own avocados.
I'm pretty sure these are from Mexico. Let's see. Yep, Mexico.
I'm not MAGA, please don't scroll. I have a moral compass and a soul. On my post talking about if Trump declares martial law, that it will be the beginning of his end, there were a bunch of commenters of people being fearful of Trump supporters carrying out their wildest fantasies against everyday Americans that just happen to be left-leaning or Democrat or just independent and anti-Trump. And it's an understandable fear. There has been an onslaught of radicalization by way of online misinformation, disinformation. I remember the good old days when we as a nation stood united against extremism. But if I could put some of your fears at ease with some common sense logic. And MAGA, you may want to pay attention to this one too. This is my comment responding to someone with such fears. Martial law won't be able to tell Adam from Eve, and the most loyal MAGA will also be targets to Trump's orders. Then they will see the light, hopefully. And I say hopefully with a big old scoop of skepticism, because what else do you need? And again, MAGA, we're not inciting violence or hoping for it. But when push comes to shove, the people and our honorable members of our military that take their oath seriously will protect and defend the Constitution against enemies foreign and domestic. And no amount of Trump or MAGA flags on your home or your vehicle will make you exempt from Trump's orders of martial law. I said it 1,000,000 times and I'll keep saying it, MAGA. Denouncing Trump does not mandate allegiance to Biden or the left or the Dems. You can remain a Republican and actually stand for something instead of continuing to fall for anything. Unless you don't actually believe in the Constitution.
So this is what it feels like to live in the downfall of a republic, huh? Does not feel good. Feels shitty, sad. And then anger at your fellow Americans who seem to want this to happen. So now Germany and Canada are telling their citizens not to come here. Because there was that German guy here on a green card, Schmidt. He was detained in Logan Airport in Boston, and it sounds like he was treated inhumanely. Some of the stuff sounds pretty brutal. And he just had some prior violations, nothing violent, nothing extreme. And then there was that Canadian woman. She's here on a work visa. And then there was some mishap where she didn't get her visa from the right consulate and she was trying to fix it. Next thing she knows, she's detained. And she spends 3 weeks moving from various detention centers. And she's also treated pretty poorly. And so imagine these countries are telling their citizens don't go there because they have arbitrary detention. This is why the founders had the Bill of Rights, to have due process of law. The Fifth Amendment protects us. If you're accused of something, you can get a lawyer, you can get protections. There's due process for throwing people into detention and arresting them. So it's just really frustrating seeing the vision of the founders, this society that was supposed to protect your civil rights and liberties from tyranny. That was the whole point of it. So then my question is, are they going to start coming after naturalized citizens next? Are they just going to come after anyone who's a citizen, who opposes what's happening and questions the government? Is that where this is headed? I don't know. How do you feel? Tell me in the comments.